Hello and welcome back to the Cisco CCNP route training from TrainSignal. This is actually our final lesson. We've reviewed a number of different topics. Now we want to actually talk a little bit about once you've trained for the exam and taken the exam and successfully passed the exam, where do you essentially go from here? So we term this next steps. So in this particular lesson, our final lesson, we want to talk a little bit about where you started, what you've been able to accomplish through this process, the CCNP training track as a whole. We're looking at the CCNP route as the first of the 3 exams required. Some of my favorite supporting resources, you can call this sort of the going deeper and way to dig more into the protocols. And then finally, a little bit about feedback from you because we value your opinion. So think of the CCNP and the CCNP route in particular as a process, as a journey. Frequently, it's much like climbing a mountain. If you've ever done rock climbing or a lot of hiking and you've gone up some significant distance, this is actually Mount Rainier in Washington State pictured here, it can be very grueling. I actually was on a hike one time where my wife and I actually went a significant distance, and we were very tired. We had seemingly it had gone on forever and ever and ever, but when we looked down, we saw how much we had accomplished, the distance we've covered, the very picturesque view that we had that we would not have had without taking that journey. The journey itself is a process, but obviously as you reach the end of it and you look back about what all of you've accomplished, that in its sense is a great sense of reward all its own. So it's a journey. Now where you started with a lot less knowledge and with fewer skills that you have now been able to master and achieve through this process. You've been able to look at IP routing principles and be able to expand your understanding. And you've been able to take a much deeper and more intense look, and intense is probably the right word, of all these different protocols. You've looked at EIGRP, how it works, what the decision-making processes are, how to design for it, how to troubleshoot it. OSPF with multiple areas, different area types, authentication, and so forth. All of these with OSPF. With BGP, specifically eBGP, how it operates, the way that the protocol functions, the way neighbors function, the way routes are advertised. And then delving into a lot more into IP version 6, which frankly is new for a lot of people. The strange hexadecimal notation for 128-bit addresses, the things that are different than IP version 4, the things that are the same, how to actually make it coexist because it doesn't seem to be widely adopted in a lot of areas yet. Redistribution, design, implementation, and troubleshooting, and finally branch offices and their technologies and the implementation of those technologies. You've been able to accomplish a lot by going through this course. You've been able to master the building blocks of Cisco IP version 4 and IP version 6 routing. You have not only built but expanded a knowledge base far beyond what you had before. You have a blueprint for hands-on exercises, how to actually practically apply some of these things. You have been able to achieve expertise as a network professional. You now have a level of knowledge that others might not. You now have the confidence to undertake and to successfully pass the 642-902 CCNP route exam. You've been able to take the building blocks that are necessary to be able to make that happen. And you've been able to take the first step or steps toward the CCNP certification. And it's assumed that you will be taking the switch and the T-shoot exams at some point after this one. So speaking of the switch and T-shoot, we want to actually look a little bit in perspective about what it takes for achievement of the CCNP, the Cisco Certified Network Professional. And it's sometimes referred to as the CCNP RNS, or Route and Switch, because it specifically deals with routing and switching technologies. First, you have the ICND1, your CCENT or CCENT. Obviously, you have to have your CCNA before you go on to take the CCNP. But obviously now, the CCNP is composed of 3 exams. You can see that the route exam is in blue because that's what this course is about. But the switch, dealing with switching, and T-shoot or troubleshooting, those 3 together make the CCNP certification. Beyond that, if you actually want to go on even further beyond the CCNP, you can take the CCIE Routing and Switching Certification Exam. The written exam is 350001, and then there's the lab, which is 8 hours in length, and you actually have to go to a specific Cisco testing center in order to be able to perform that. And chances are you'll have to take that multiple times. As I mentioned before, I had to take it 5. I know some people that have taken it 6 or more, but most people it's usually about 2 or 3. So the next exam in the series is the switch exam. It stands for Implementing Cisco IP Switch Networks. It's talking about implementing VLANs, again, given network design and set of requirements. Again, this is a phrase that's all the way through. Implement a security extension of Layer 2. Implement switch-based Layer 3 services, because you know a lot of the switches that Cisco manufactures have Layer 3 capabilities. Prepare the infrastructure to support advanced services or advanced technologies. This is unified communications, data center, wireless, and so forth. And then implement high availability given a network design and set of requirements. So this is just a snapshot of the switch exam, which would be next in the series of our studies. Then there's the T-shoot, or the troubleshooting and maintaining Cisco IP switched networks. And the basic snapshot is knowing how to maintain and monitor network performance, and then obviously how to troubleshoot multi-protocol system networks. If you recall, we actually did some basic troubleshooting techniques in each one of the protocols, but this will actually be looking at things as a whole and actually taking it quite a bit a layer deeper. EIGRP, OSPF, eBGP, there's actually a number of others, but these are some of the technologies that will be required as part of the T-shoot exam. So some terms to be familiar with. Switch, all in caps. This is the Implementing Cisco IP Switch Network exam, one of the 3 required to achieve the CCNP certification. Remember, route is the one that we've been discussing. T-shoot is troubleshooting and maintaining Cisco IP switch networks. Again, one of the 3 exams. And then CCNP, which stands for Cisco Certified Network Professional, sometimes worded as CCNP Route and Switch, the professional level certification for routing and switching technologies from Cisco Systems. Well, we have covered a lot of material in terms of Cisco IP routing. There are some additional resources that you have available to you that will actually allow you to drill quite a bit deeper. For instance, Jeff Doyle's TCP IP Routing Volumes 1 and 2 really go into incredible depth. And while they are CCIE level books, they are critically important to be able to understand all of the aspects of the routing protocols at a very, very deep level. For IP version 6, there's also a work by Shannon McFarlane. This is the IP version 6 for enterprise networks. It actually goes into quite a bit more detail and depth. And then, of course, you always have your Cisco iOS documentation. The current version is in the 15 range, and you can obviously look at different commands, configurations, and so forth there. So what did we cover? Where you started, what you've been able to accomplish in this particular course, the CCNP Route and Switch training track, a little bit about favorite supporting resources, and finally, we value your opinion. One of the things that makes these courses at the quality level that help you with your certification needs is by giving us feedback. You can do that by calling us. There is the 888-229-5055 US number and the worldwide number 847-776-8800. You can email us at feedback@trainsignal.com. We also have forums. You can comment on our blogs. But the point is, we need to hear from you. If there's something that we could clarify, let us know. If there's something that we can do better, let us know. We can actually make some modifications so that these courses have the kind of quality, practical application, and applicability for you as a network professional. It's been my pleasure serving as your instructor through this course, and thank you very much for your kind attention, and I wish you all the success in the future.